Why do you think that people watch horror?
It's a fascination with, like if we drive past a car accident, most of us, they look at it. They're fascinating. Everybody is like, has a fear of death. That's what we're born for, and we are animals that know we're gonna die. And that scares us, but also fascinates us. So if we drive past an accident, we all want to see what's going on and how is the suffering. And that's the same with horror films. You are safe in your cinema chair or at home, and you see horrible things happening to other people, and you are safe. And that gives a very cool feeling for yourself. And the horror fans, they particularly love that. And each time they want to see a horror film, it's like drugs. They want to see more misery and more. And they always hope for more victims and more blood. And they're really addicted. It's like a drug in your head when you see those films. And that's what's happening.
You spoke about your aim initially was to go enter the zeitgeist, to be remembered.
Yes.
And the first one kind of allowed you to do that. The second one played on the first, and the third
Yes.
one on the second.
Yes.
Were you attempting to provide any comment further than that? Obviously,
Yeah.
with the second two, you were able to comment on the first.
Absolutely.
But with the first one,
Yeah.
Would you have bigger ideas than just?
Absolutely, yeah. If you see the films, they're like social commentary as well. When I made part 2 and people asked me for more and more, I gave it to them. And then people got very upset I gave it to them. And that's, so I react to what the people, the public says. It's very, my original idea was as punishment. And part 1 wasn't about punishment, but for innocent people, for victims. And for 3, I used the punishment element. And I put it in a big American prison. And it's like a satire on the prison system. In my opinion, if you would punish like this, in a little different way than this, but you got to see the film then, would crime rate drop immediately? If you know you were kind of sent to prison and you were attached to an ass in front of you, I wonder if crime rates drop. So it's the question is in that film should punishment be different? It's like a little bit of the Guantanamo ideas are in there. And in part 2, the guy who does the mentally unstable guy who does all the surgery, he's like mentally unstable because he was abused as a kid by his father. And a lot of times those kids, they become very sexual in a very strange way because it's a reflection to that. So this guy, I made him in the film very lovable. And the sick thing is you kind of feel for that guy. You feel sorry for him. And then I show you these things he's doing, and somehow you are still fond of this little guy. And that is very fucked up in your head what happens then. And part 1 is a lot about the Nazis in the Second World War. I based the searching character on Josef Mengele, who did terrible experiments on twins. And this time he joins people. And I put a Japanese as the head of the centipede. And the doctor speaks German, but cannot communicate with the head because he's Japanese. And the American girls who are behind him, they're Americans, but they can't talk because they're to this asshole. So the fun thing is, they're all the players in the main World War, in the Second World War, and they cannot communicate. And you see, what happens when you see the films. So there are so many layers in the films. And for some, it's only the gore, and for some see all those elements and the humor in it. Some say it's comedy. And each one sees something different in those films. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what's your goal? Because in the beginning, I got the idea that you just want to become famous.
Yes.
Doing that by shock, that's,
Yeah.
well, in my opinion, maybe not the hardest way to become famous.
That's quite difficult. Yeah.
Okay, we
Yeah.
could debate about
Yeah, sure.
I'm just wondering, then
Yeah.
later on, and as you answer the questions now, I got
Yeah.
the idea that you want to investigate psychology maybe, or social
Absolutely.
structure.
Yeah.
So what is your goal?
Yeah. Only to become famous. I like to become famous, but because I love all the.
Why do you want to become famous?
Yeah,
That's it.
it's an interesting idea of being famous, because being famous means that you can easily do stuff. You can get stuff done. So for me, it's very simple now to make a movie. I get the money everywhere, and that happens to famous people. You get all the actors you want, so it really helps you. Also, to get in a restaurant, you get an easy table in New York or whatever. But that doesn't. For me, the most thing for being famous is that you can easily do your things, make your art, and that's the most important thing for me. I'm obsessed by making movies. I have this rare virus, and I only want to make movies. And I like the fact that people talk about my work. Because if you look on Twitter, every 5 seconds, people in the world, everywhere, talk about my Human Centipede films. And I love that. Because with so many films, after you see the film, you wonder yourself, what's for dinner? And you forget about it immediately. And I want to make art that, is like a comet. It hits the world, and it stays there for a long time. And that's what I'm aiming for. I love that my art causes debate.
But how is it for you personally? Because you said that that everybody's mediocre and you want to be special.
Yes.
And we're all just blitz in space and will die. I mean, you are
Yeah.
still nothing in space and will die.
I'm nothing. Absolutely.
How,
Yeah.
how does it now feel different now? Tom Cruise invites you for a private screening. Does it change something meaningful or not so much?
No, the fun is, I think we are all useless. I am as well, completely useless. And you are
For big effort for Tom Cruise to invite you for, and your.
no, that's a fun thing on the sides. It's just, I think it's fun that he what nothing at all.
I mean, you're happy with it to tell us to share.
Yeah, I find it funny that so many people you don't expect it, they want to see those movies. Because if somebody asks a private screening of those movies, I think it's
If I would
quite.
ask you, can you give me a private screening of this movie?
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell it in any city with any press.
No, the fun thing is, everybody knows that guy, and he's like from Scientology, and he has a certain mindset. And do you think those kind of films belong to his personality? You know what I mean? It's
He just hops on the bandwagon.
he is.
He hops on the
Yeah.
bandwagon, everybody talks about it, so he talks about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of those movie stars, they're so rich, and they have everything, and they want to have thrills. So they're looking for the most extreme things in the world to handle. If you know all those Hollywood stories, those people are really fucked up all. But your question was like, yeah.
How now, did it
Yeah.
improve
Yeah.
who you are? I wonder for the meaning. It seems so meaningless what you do, but then you're very keen
yeah.
on it. So
Yeah.
I wonder what
Yeah,
it means.
everything, in my opinion, everything we do is completely useless. So for me, it's just fun and play. I want to make things that people know about, that people can enjoy, and for many years to come. If you have now young people that discover the films, they're so totally in love with it. And I inspire young people to make films, because they see those kind of films, and they see this guy from Holland, he just do it. And I do it without film funds and stuff.
But it's,
Yeah.
But you agree it's a meaningless film, and then all these young
Yeah.
people, they are. I mean, I don't know them, but
I-
they're inspired by this movie.
Yeah, all films are meaningless, but everything is meaningless.
Some things are more meaningless than other things.
Why? What do you? Why is that?
Well, some things learn something, reflect on something, give a critical review of something, and some things are just tying mouths to penises just because you can.
Yeah, and if you see the films, there are a lot of layers in there. If you see the whole films, I show you now the most extreme scenes, because we're now today talking about shock. So I wanted to see the shock level here. I wanted to show everything.
Nobody's going to watch your movie because of the layers.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Because if you read all the reviews in all the big LA Times, New York Times, they write about all the layers of the interesting stuff. Because some say it's very comical. So people find it hilarious. So a lot of people who like comedy, they watch it and they have an opinion about it. And other people, they want to see the gore only. So, and people who see it, they see the intelligence in it as well. I've done film festivals all over the world, and you talk like thousands of people who've seen the film, and they have like so many questions, and they say, I'm working on my own project, and how do you do it? So you inspire a lot of young people as well, because it's so hard to make films. You need like millions to make a good film. And yeah, you need a lot of talent, you need a good script, you have to assemble a crew, you have to good locations. It's quite hard to make a film.
I think we
Yeah.
should wrap
Oh
up
yeah.
with this.
Oh sure.
One last question. And
Sure.
I was just really curious if your parents watched the movie also, if
Yeah.
you were there when they watched it,
Yeah, I did.
and what they think of it, and or how they
I brought my mother even to the premiere in London for the third one, and she absolutely loved it. She has the same sense of humor as I have, and she knows it's all fun and games. It's not real, because she knows a couple of the actors, and they are so proud that they played the part. So she can see it separately from the screen, what you're seeing, and yeah, she loved it. And I make the films together with my sister. She does all the business side, and I do all the creative side. So it's like a little family thing. Yeah. Sure.
You were talking about humor, but I was wondering how it relates to your own fantasies.
Yeah, I have very dark fantasies. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like what you were doing during the night.
Yeah, everybody works that. Yeah, absolutely. But I always say, guys who make horror films, in real life, they're very lovely people. The guys who make romantic comedies, they are the sickos. And lots of times that's true. Because I do it on the screen already. I don't have to do it in real life. So all my sick fantasies, I can just portray them to the screen. And in real life, I have a different life, I think.
Family home, family car.
No, I have quite a different life than normal people. I don't do I don't do groceries and stuff. I live kind of different than other people, but yeah, that's the way I think. Yeah.
Are you now up to making something that people will make forget the human centipede?
Yeah, I'm working now on the Onania Club, and that's a whole different way of shocking, and it's a very intelligent film. You don't see any blood and gore, but it's, I think, the worst human emotion. I won't spoil it yet. The worst human emotion, I put a magnifying glass on that, and I'm going to show people in that film, and people will absolutely be appalled, but they will immediately look at themselves, because they do that themselves as well. So you get a very uncomfortable feeling seeing that film, and I wonder what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.